Hey guys, Trickster here. Welcome back to Lucid9. Let's see. I only nod wordlessly in response as I step out of his office. My throat almost feels clogged, as if I just heard something that I really needed to hear. Maybe these meetings really are a good thing. Wow, move those legs, you filthy maggots. Move them, double time. What the heck? I peer around, searching for the source of the noise, and find Akira racing around the entrance, a large lumpy backpack slung over her shoulders. Oh, Sarge, please, pretty please, I've been running 6 miles, I swear I'm gonna collapse. I shouldn't be able to hear you over the sounds of your tears, Private. Hop on to it. Akira? I gently step in front of her and wave to catch her attention. She grinds to a halt, tilting her head curiously at me. What are you doing here? I'm here for drama club, of course. But no one else is here. I'm doing an immersion exercise. Loot? An immersion exercise? Yep, I need to act half dead from a boot camp, so I'm gonna run a mile around the school track with this backpack. A mile? But that backpack looks as big as her. Boot camp? Is that why you're calling me Loot? Nah, I called you Loot because Loot is short for Lieutenant. Well, darn my socks. Don't you catch on fast. Usually her antics would annoy me, but for some reason it's soothing right now. Like white noise in a messy world. Do you usually do things this intense for drama club? Huh? Oh no, this is easy. You should have seen what I had to do for yesterday. I was a sadistic serial killer. What did you do for that? I ate a bunch of cereal. Okay. I'm not sure whether to feel relieved or exasperated. Say, Loot, if you don't have anything to do right now, why don't you join us? We're doing some exercises you might like. What makes you think I'll like them? From what Ruby says. And what exactly does she say? That you'll like the exercises? That's cyclical logic. On the contrary, it has nothing to do with bikes. Sigh. Well, technically, I don't have anything to do. Wait, Ruby will be there? I thought that a silent Akira would be a blessing, but it's just unsettling. Rui has had something to do today. But if you come tomorrow, you can watch her bedazzle the crowd. Tomorrow's Saturday, isn't it? Oh, is it? You don't know what day of the week it is? It's Tuesday for my character. And in my defense, there's a half day on Saturdays. Just no clubs, which is kind of important. She doesn't seem to hear me. Instead, she just checks her phone for the time. Hey, boot camp is ending. What about your mile? Let's go! She reaches out and grabs my wrist, but suddenly lets go as if it's burning iron. I send a questioning look at her, but she only shrugs it off. Come on, Loot, adventure awaits. Without any further explanation, she marches into the classroom building. Well, this should be interesting. Akira leads me into classroom 3A, where a dozen students are seated in a ring looking expectantly at Akira. One of the girls immediately leaps to her feet. I recognize her as a drama club president. Where have you been, maggot? You know how late it is? Immediately, Akira stumbles forward as if she's dead exhausted, the backpack sliding from her shoulders and crashing to the ground. Sorry, sir, I took a detour. A detour? What kind of detour can you take on a training ground? Akira, is she Akira right now? Points a tremulous finger at my direction. He jumped on me, sir, out of nowhere. I don't even know how he got here. Eyes swivel at me, waiting to see how I handle the sudden development. They're probably expecting me to dodge out, to freeze, or just stare at them like they're a bunch of weirdos. Heck, even I'm expecting me to do something along those lines. But instead, sheer instinct takes over. The years of make-believe molds me into what is needed at the moment. A foreign spy who haplessly stumbled onto a military operation. Sorry, I'm a tourist. Lost my way. I suddenly move my hand to my hip, where my imaginary gun holster lies. Surprisingly, the club president is perceptive enough to catch it. He's a spy! Right as I pretend to whip out my gun, Akira tackles my arm, throwing me into the ground. I feel a shot of pain at my shoulder, dripping a very real cry of agony from my throat. Akira proceeds to deftly lock my arms behind my back, leaning over until she's mouth is right next to my ear. Drop the gun! Through the haze of pain, I manage to hold my character together. Akira nudges my arm, gentler this time, and I yell, opening my fingers in a releasing motion. Sir, what should I do? The club's president kneels down, looking at me straight in the eye. I tilt my head upwards, staring as challengingly as I possibly can. Nice one. Strangers don't usually pick up so easily. The entire room relaxes as she sits before me, bowing her head slightly. Welcome to the drama club. I'm the club president. Sorry you came in on a pretty hectic day. No, it was interesting. Akira, could you let go of me? Akira suddenly squeaks, lunging away from me. An uncharacteristic blush crawls up to her cheeks as she vainly attempts to cover her face with her hands. It's really unusual for her, but kinda cute. Almost reminds me of Rui. I suppose they've rubbed up on each other at this point. Quickly disregarding these thoughts, I focus back on my physical status and move my arm back to its regular position. It twinges painfully, and I can't hide a wince, which the club president immediately notices. Oh gosh, are you okay? I test my arm for a moment, but the pain subsided, probably just overstretched slightly. Nah, I should be fine. It's nothing compared to what Mika's made me do before. Did I hurt you? I'm really sorry, Yama. It's fine, really. Are you sure? It's unsettling to see Akira so meek. I glance at the club's president and raise an eyebrow. She seems to understand. Well, let's try some basic exercise before our next scenario. Sylvanica's magic if, everyone. The rest of the club time is spent in playing around with different objects, pretending that pencils are bombs, chairs are clouds, and desks are shields. It's amazingly refreshing. I'd almost forgotten how fun it was just to put everything aside and enter a completely different world. Even when the club's been dismissed, I feel a sense of lightness that I haven't felt in a long time. Hey, Loot! Akira pops next to me, now returned to her cheery self. Hey, where are you headed? Home. Don't you live in the dorms? I live in the world, therefore anywhere I go is my home. Bizarre as always, the only thing I've grown to understand about this girl is that I'll never understand her. Right, seriously, where are you going? Come to think of it, I have no clue what I'm doing here. Catch you later, Loot. See you later. Without any further explanation, she skips away. I shrug off my confusion, accepting it as a norm when one speaks with Akira, and head back to my apartment. Except something stops me at the entrance. By this time, all the students are living it up in town, or doing nobody knows what in the school rec center. Nobody just hangs around the entrance. For most, the barred gates and curfew are just another sign of the restrictions instituted by helicopter parents. But beneath the shade of a tree in a far corner, I catch sight of two figures facing each other with hands on hips. I inch forward. The figures are none other than Misaki and Rui, immersed in conversation. Must you keep ignoring me, Rui? Because you've been gone for 4 years, Misaki. We didn't know where you went or even why you had to leave. All these years, Yama and I were left in the dark. For all we knew, you could have been dead. How can you expect us to act like you've never left? I still don't understand how Yama can be so forgiving after he almost... You know what? I'm tired of this. Just don't ever speak to me again, Misaki. She turns to stalk off, but Misaki grabs her wrist in the blink of an eye. I'm not letting you walk away again, damn it. Do you believe that I wanted to leave Seto? To move to District 6 with my mother, who, by the way, doesn't even deserve to be called my mother? What I don't understand is why you're blaming me for something I couldn't control. Misaki suddenly outbursts to catch Rui off guard. District 6? Doesn't deserve to be called my mother? Just what happened to Misaki after she left Seto? Misaki, you're hurting my wrist. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryu, I shouldn't have. The two girls seem to avoid each other's gazes for an awkward moment. Rui is the first to speak, her voice coming out barely a whisper. Half a year after you left, we gave up. We thought you'd never ever contact us again. I was okay, but Yama, he thought that someone had left him again, forever. He thought that... Oh, what was that? What the fuck was that? He thought that people would just keep leaving him, that nobody would stay by his side. He locked himself in his room, pulled himself into a shell. Couldn't reach him. No one could. He didn't trust any of us to stay. Then I dropped by his house one day, and the medicine cabinet was open, and his huge bottle was gone. You mean... Yeah, I know how hands up his parents have always been. The ambulance barely made it in time. They start pumping him on site. That's how bad it was. Was it really that bad? So I understand why I was so upset. I had no idea, Rui. Just where were you, Miki? Why couldn't you have just... Rui breaks off and covers her face with her hands. Misaki's expression crumbles. She hesitantly reaches towards Rui. Rui promptly kicks her in the shin. Damn, dummy, Miki, why did you take so long? Yow! Why weren't you there for Yalma? Why weren't you there for me? I missed you. Wee. And now they're draped against each other, sobbing like newborn children. What just happened? I quietly inched away from the scene, feeling the sudden sense that they needed privacy. At least they made up. Well, from the looks of it, it almost seems like Rui was just really overwhelmed from keeping secrets. My memory of that time is very faint, but hers must be crystal clear. Her terror, her anguish when she stumbled on me, must have been festering inside her all these years, because mentioning anything could have sent me over the brink. She always had to fake smiles, put me first, pick me up when I'd fallen down. What? Something itches in the back of my mind, a weird kind of dizziness threatening to overwhelm me. I forced it back and took him, be more detached. I really don't want to think about that time, but thankfully I can suppress it for now. But Rui, she was never one to hide away from her feelings. She faced that pain full force. Little wonder that seeing Miki again had brought all that to the surface. And Miki. She said she moved to District 6 with Setomi, something she hadn't told me when I first saw her 2 days ago. Why would she resent her mother so passionately? Also, why would they move to District 6, the most poverty-stricken area in Isamu? It certainly makes me curious, but then again, it's really none of my business. At least she and Rui are friends again, so maybe now the three of us can go back to the way we were. I can't hide a smile as I lounge on his couch after whipping some dinner and replaying the exchange in my head. I'm glad that they made up, really glad. Somehow it feels like a big burden has been lifted off me, even though I technically had nothing to do with the argument. And now I'm getting all sappy. Let's see, what should I do tonight? Be responsible. Or do something stupid. Responsible, something stupid. Let's be responsible. I guess I should actually study. Not that I've ever do it alone. If I'm going to be miserable, I might as well be miserable with someone else. Japanese degree, Masato, moral studies. Oh lord. Let's do moral studies. To be honest, studying with Yahiko would only have a negative impact on my productivity. But hearing his outrageous ideas would be worth it. Infinite battery, really? Damn it, Yahiko! Answer! Effective cloud and Bluetooth and my full battery. Infinite bars. Supposed to click. Damn it, what's up, my good minion? Hey, I'm looking through the moral studies assignment. Are you in need of my assistance? What are your thoughts on question 3? Describe how viewpoints of women changed with the implementation of westernization. Oh, this one's easy. Westernization means going west, so clearly if women are moving west, the viewpoint gets further and further. Well, I was expecting something sexist, but that's just as ridiculous. Interesting. How about question 7? List some cultural differences in eating mannerisms between Asian and Middle Eastern cultures and how it relates to perceptions of a country's morals. That, my good minion, is why you should actually pay attention in class. They're the exact same. China is the middle country, and Japan is east of China. What makes it a Middle Eastern country? And since Japan is an Asian country, this question compares Japan to Japan. There's so much wrong with that answer that I don't even know where to begin. Okay, what about question 13? You make a lot of problems with these questions, huh? Yeah, I realized that in order to solve these problems, I need to compare to their source. Well, you came to the right place. I have all the answers. He totally didn't understand. Let's see. List 3 countries' perspectives on disobeying one's parents. One for each category. Liberal, moderate, and conservative. What is it? Dad. Nothing. Somehow I'm not convinced. Anyway, Japan looks down on disobeying one's parents. America considers it fine as long as it benefits the child more to do so, and moderate, maybe Russia? My concern is compounded by the fact that his answer is actually right. Something up with your dad? Moderate. England? Nah, England's liberal. Yahiko. Well, that's all you need, right? See you tomorrow, bye. Whoa. I hang up feeling more unsettled than when I started the call. I'd expect some mindless fun, but instead... The sudden ring on my phone breaks me out of my thoughts. do you want? Better take it. Shiguri? Ah, Ishiyama. A most intriguing circumstance has transpired and necessitates immediate reagency. I'm not going to get another little goose chase, if that's what you mean. Oh, I fear that is a far more exigency than a mere preliminary. Despite myself, I'm intrigued. And what would that be? The police have come to an impasse, and an exact codificacy for the recent disappearances when Isamu Imperial Boarding Academy. Are you conversant with the cases? I ruefully think back to events of the morning. Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with the recent disappearances. Well, I should hope so, given that you attend the very institution. At any rate, you must meet me at the school tomorrow morning. We are scouring every last inch of that campus, even if it requires neglecting sleep. With luck, a crucial piece of evidence may be uncovered. Disappearances, neglecting sleep, evidence, what's going on? So we're searching the academy for a lead on the recent disappearances. That is what I previously averted. Are you deaf or merely improficient of fathoming such elementary conceptualizations with your tawdry intellectually? There goes a canon of verbal abuse. I'm honestly impressed. I can't match her in that regard. But no one disturbs my sleep. No one. And you're expecting me to pull an all-nighter for this? Well, naturally. The case demands it. I'm not doing that. Get some other people to help. On the contrary, as I have no qualms of neglecting sleep, you should be the one recruiting. Gather your accomplices as you deem necessary, Ishiyama, and meet me by the school gate by 8 a.m. sharp. But isn't it illegal to share confidential case information with civilians? It ought to be villainous to possess such indefinite acumen. Yet you are not incarcerated. That doesn't answer my question. Should you choose to go alone, know that you will be spending an entire day of your day in investigation. I'm not even getting paid, and you really don't want to do it. You don't have to. But we both know that you're already too curious for that. What's really unfair is that she's actually right. Sometimes I wish she was oblivious and stupid, but then again, she wouldn't be Shiguri. Guess I have a lot of calls to make. Son of a bitch. When I arrived at the academy next morning, I find a fairly sizable group of people gathered by the gate, none of them looking particularly happy with me. Well, look who actually showed up. Elizabeth's definitely the angriest. I probably shouldn't have pulled the blackmail card to get her here. At the same time, I need as many people as I can get. You thought I wouldn't? Honestly? No. I was the guy who organized this. Why wouldn't I show up? Once an irresponsible person, always an irresponsible person. Would you like some pepper with that salt? I'm just telling him how to improve. Sure you are. You haven't said a single constructive thing. Does he deserve it? He doesn't bloody take anything seriously. Has he ever excelled? Ever? Is this still about the stupid project from last year? It wasn't stupid. Clearly you don't have the brains to understand. Hey, lay off her! Guys, can we just stay out of this, Yahiko? Look, Elizabeth, I've tried to just ignore you. I thought you improved because Yama stopped talking about you. But you're too stubborn to think you might be wrong. You know nothing about me. Stop shooting off your mouth like an ignorant. Come here and say that to me. Ja, vos need less loose for y'all spill 'em. Condone what y'all done, eh? For a second, I find myself double-checking whether that was indeed Misaki Kazahaya who just spoke. Judging from the fact that everyone else looks just as bewildered as me, the answer is resounding yes. The commotion immediately comes to a halt, Masato seemingly the only person who actually registered what Misaki said. She's right. Ain't no use in us arguing. Well, alright then. Guess that's one way to defuse an angry Masato. What makes it a little scary is how easily Misaki could do so. Elizabeth and Marie turn away in a huff, but they stay silent. I'm not completely sure whether it's out of respect for Misaki or if they simply don't have the energy to keep arguing. Well, this is getting off to a great start. It appears you acquired a respectable quantity of potential peons after all, Ishiyama. And now Shiguri is here, which will either fix everything or make matters much, much worse. I'm betting on the latter. Wait, isn't that... Eddie, what are you doing here? You. I elbow him in the ribs to shut him up. He seemed to understand. She's with me, obviously. I, on the other hand, have my own inquiry. But what means have you acquainted yourself with Ari Hiraga? How do I know her? Same school, remember? And yet you address her with some similitude of fellowship. So do you. How do you know her? I hold no obligation to acknowledge inquiries impelled by a marginally competent plebeian. With this kind of affirmation and my hard efforts, she moved into a group, examining each person from head to toe. They only stare back unsure how to react. Intriguing. I see. What are you doing? Shiguri only returns to the center of the group without another word. My name is Shiguri Inotomo. I am a freelance detective. Ain't you kinda young for that? I'm 26 years of age, you tedious imbecile, and legally certified. She flashes her badge at Masato, who only shrugs. You're 26? Yes. Pray keep yourself from any further counterproductive disruptions. After a moment of silence, during which she takes a deep breath, already comfortably patting her back, she seems to regain her control. You have been summoned on account of an extremely important affair. As you might expect, I cannot divulge details due to the confidential nature of the case. However, I can tell you the following. We are searching for any information that might be related to the recent disappearances of Academy students. You must be meticulous, you must be witty, you must be adaptable, and above all, you must stay alive. Her words carry an unusual dramatic weight. A quick glance from around the air confirms my suspicions. Every person is leaning towards Shiguri, a glimmer of excitement in their eyes. Even Elizabeth seems interested. Heck, I'm looking forward to this. Turns out that Shiguri can inspire her when she really wants to. Investigate all areas of the school until noon, where we shall reconvene at the garden rooftop to debrief. Leave no stone unturned. The lives of innocent citizens lie in our hands. 3, 2, 1, break! Every person in the group tears off in every direction. Only Rui, Shugun remain. Rui shuffles closer to Shiguri with a shy smile. I'm sorry, but would it be okay if I tagged along with you? Being a detective sounds so cool. But, of course, if only it's okay with you and Ari. I noticed Shiguri's chest puff up slightly with like a proud veteran, aiming to impress the newbies. Rui probably scored extra points by including Ari. Well, if you insist. Eddie? Eddie glanced from Rui to Shiguri and back. The edge of her brow furrowed slightly. Shiguri noticed her hesitation, tries a comforting smile. Remember? Eri stares vacantly at Shiguri for a long moment, then nods, the corners of her lips rising up slightly. It's settled. What's your name? I'm Rui, Yori Hayata. We must depart at once, Rui. Enlightenment awaits. And she promptly dashes away, Rui on her heels. Eri briefly glances my direction as she follows them out. I spend an idle moment relishing the fresh air against my face and the glorious serenity of silence. Then I straighten my shoulders and evaluate my surroundings, ready to start my investigation. Let's start with the courtyard. The courtyard is usually a right place for gossip. Maybe I can glean something from there. I find a first-year class and a third-year class in the midst of some outdoor session. The first year seemed to be in PE. They're paired off, standing on opposite sides of the badminton net. The third year seemed to be in art, judging from the easels before them. Interesting enough, Elizabeth is here, pleasantly chatting with an adoring first year. Honestly, I'm surprised that she took so well to being ordered around by Shiguri. Maybe she's just sucking up because Shiguri is part of law enforcement. I see, thank you for your help. No problem, Elizabeth. She races back to her friends by the badminton net, chattering excitedly that Elizabeth Oshiro just spoke to her. I'm about to stride over, but another familiar girl slides up next to her with a smile. Natsuke Tanaka, the mystery within a mystery. Why, what might you be doing here, Beth? Oh, hey Natsuki, art? Charcoal fingers. You know how it goes. Really though, why aren't you in class? It isn't like you to skip. Oh, I'm not skipping, this is for work. Work? A different work, from my father of sorts. Her father? Why her father? Then again, I can understand why she wouldn't want to mention Shiguri. Your father sounds important. Actually, you're good with information. Can you tell me anything about the recent disappearances? The recent disappearances? Her eyes changed. On the news. Oh, those disappearances! She says this airily, as if disappearances are simply an everyday event in Isamu. Elizabeth doesn't even seem phased. Let's ask around, shall we? Thanks, Natsuki. The two girls split off. Natsuki settles in front of her easel, but strikes up conversation with her neighbor. Elizabeth continues to pull aside first years from the badminton court. I really shouldn't tease her, but the opportunity is just too tempting. I slide around the edge of the court until I'm right behind Elizabeth. The news showed it today. Oh yeah, now I remember. Crouch down, kneel over, and... Tea and crumpets! Bloody hell! Yeek! A snicker as a chair of expletives pour from Elizabeth's mouth. She burrows around and daggers in her eyes. What on this bloody planet are you trying to pull, you gormless git? There's her British side, strong as I've ever seen it. I must have made her really mad this time. I can only grin as I speak in exaggerated drawl. Would you like some tea and crumpets? How about some fish and chips? You're just so handsome, charming, brilliant, delusional. I can almost appreciate that. Well played, Elizabeth Oshiro. Whoa. It's only then when we remember that we have an audience. Elizabeth manages to set up her face back to a smile for a gaping first year. What? I didn't know you guys were dating. A thrill of indignation runs through me, and I immediately release Elizabeth, who attempts to speak past incoherent spluttering. We're not. I'd never date her. Not that he would ever get the chance. Not that I'd ever want the chance. Well, that makes the both of us. The first year giggles, stopping us in our tracks. Oh, sorry, it's just your bickering is so cute. It kind of reminds me of Mom and Dad. Strangely enough, Elizabeth's face suddenly bursts into color. I only find myself thinking, I worry for your parents. Sorry, I gotta get back to class. But it was nice speaking with you, Elizabeth. The first year skips into the badminton court, leaving a very angry Elizabeth with me. I hope you're proud of yourself. You just wasted time and at the expense of human lives. Gee, that's morbid. This is a serious investigation, Yama. We might get a lead on a kidnapper. Kidnapper? Never mind. She storms of contained rage emitting from her, and the freshman inch away, uncomfortable. I've been dismissed, and I feel guilt wash over me. I just don't understand why she takes everything so seriously. The courtyard is ripe for gossip, but for solid leads, not a great plan. Well, whatever. I should keep my mind on the case. After I look around, I spot a deer at the fringes of the courtyard, quietly examining a squirrel in a nearby tree. Quiet, observant, in the sidelines. Seems like a good person to talk to. I make my way to her slowly, so I don't startle her. She looks at me with a cordial smile. Hello. Hey, sorry for this sounds strange, but do I look familiar? She looks at me through her lashes, batting them subtly. Oh, no, but I've got a question. You're handsome. I'm beginning to see why this girl's kind of separate. Look, do you know anything about anything strange going on around the school recently? Are you a Siberian spy? Pardon? People who ask those sort of things are often spies, and Serbia has been looking into conquering Japan recently. I'm struck speechless by this airy statement. After a few moments of blank staring, she returns to her sketches. Having a bit of trouble there, Yama? Natsuki suddenly pops up next to me, a cat-like smile spreading across her face. Not really. I probably should have chosen someone else to talk to, though. By any chance, do you happen to be investigating the same thing as Beth? What makes you think that? You are, aren't you? Maybe I am. Should I lend you a helping hand? Don't overexert yourself. What would life be without a little bit of overexerting? Leaving me with this thought, she turns to the girl, smiling slightly. Have you watched the news as of late? Don't really watch news. Nobody has time for television. Oh, but you know what's behind the disappearances, do you not? Unless that bit of art you easily simply Rorschach test. I glanced at the easel before. I thought it was just a bunch of splatters of graphite. When I look closer, it seems to resemble blood, mixed with flesh and shards of bone. The sun almost makes my mind hazy, but I'm able to keep a grip on myself. I watch the news a lot here. They play it on the hallways sometimes, or in little dorm lounges. It is obvious. There's a terrible hand behind these disappearances. Oh? There are 3 disappearances. Each took place after curfew. They logged in for curfew, but then left, like Atlantis. Doesn't make any... Patience, Yama. She's not quite finished. The student stares blankly at her canvas before continuing. Midori Mayano. She was the first. The precedent. She disappeared 8 days ago, before the beginning of prison. Prison? She's referring, of course, to school. Right. I'm growing to like this girl, as odd as she is. Toma Hayashi. He was next. energetic with the spirit of Loki. He disappeared on the first day of school, 5 days ago. The last Akane Tsukino, she disappeared 2 days ago. Akane, the name sounds vaguely familiar. So, whatever do you find odd about these vanishings? It appears to, at the very least, perturb your canvas. The student blinks languidly before she responds. The curfew. They all logged in for curfew. I frown at them for a moment. Running some quick calculations, the academy curfew is at 11:30 p.m. By that time, students have to log themselves from their dorm rooms to verify their presence. So if I get what the girl's saying, they've been listed as present for curfew, but somehow while everyone is sleeping, they disappeared? How is that possible with the current security perimeters around the academy? The student sets down her pencils. Shadows follow you wherever you go. They had large shadows indeed. And now she's back to making no sense. I don't understand what you're... Most interesting. Thank you for your cooperation. I raise my eyebrow at Natsuki. She only shakes her head minutely. The student is looking rather wistful at her canvas. It might be best to leave her alone. Thanks for the info. Do not betray this country, Siberian spy. She turns back to the canvas as Natsuki and I step away, leaving her in peace. Leave her be. Well, Yama, you can take that however you may. Thanks. Anything for dear Beth. Now that I think about it, the fact that Natsuki wrung the information so easily is chilling. It seems Beth is having a bit of a trying time. I follow her gaze to the edge of the Batman court, where Elizabeth is clearly trying to rein in her temper against an impudent first year. Hey, it doesn't surprise me. She doesn't seem to be able to deal with people who aren't falling over her shoes. Oh my. Shall we save Beth? Before I can respond, Natsuki cups her hands around her mouth and calls out, Oh, Beth! Elizabeth storms over in a tight coil of barely contained frustration, her mouth pulled into a thin smile. Yes, Natsuki? Haven't much luck, I gather. Elizabeth only shoots a piercing glare at me. What are you still doing here? Well, here we go again. To pay my respects to the Queen of England. She closes her eyes, slowly kneading her temples with the tips of her fingers. Your queen commands an ordinance, go away. But I'd really rather not. You see, I'm in the mood for some tea. What does tea have to do with me? Well, you know, serving tea, serving coffee. When I say this, her eyes widen and she immediately kicks my shins. It stings much more violently than I thought it would. What are you doing? Biting my kneecaps? You just don't know when to stop, do you? Oh, Beth, it's a little joke. Lighten up. I'm honestly surprised that she's taking my side, considering that she's Elizabeth's friend. Then again, she doesn't seem like a typical friend. Well, I've got more important things to do than stand around bickering with Yama, so bye. Then good day to you, madame. Give my regards to the king, if you ever find one. She whisks around and strides off without a word. Looks like I won this round. Oh, Beth, ever upset. Even though Natsuki's words seem sympathetic, there's a tinge of amusement to her tone. It's disconcerting. Miss Tanaka, back to your easel, please. Well, I'd best be off to class. Good luck to you on your little goose chase, Yama. She winks as if looking for clues on serial vanishings, and is equitable for looking for a lost eraser, and disappears behind her easel. If you can hear my cat, I'm so sorry. I glance at my phone. It looks like it's already time to meet at the roof. With a few minutes, everyone's gathered on the rooftop. I take stock of the unfortunates. Rui, Shiguri, and Eri seem disappointed. Yahiko and Elizabeth seem tired. Masaki and Eri seem to be unchanged, and Masato looks like he's on the brink of death. Despite the idiocies of bureaucracy, it appears that a crucial piece of information did surface. The students had all disappeared even after curfew? Yes. You may elaborate further, Ishiyama. I glanced around, but no one seems willing to talk. Not even Rui, who was excited to play detective. Well, basically, each of the students logged in for the 11:30 p.m. curfew in their rooms. By all intents and purposes, that should have rendered them safe. Even if they're allowed to leave the dorm building, they'd have to stay on campus, and it's not like anyone else can get in with security parameters around the building. So we have something strange on our hands, since they disappear when they shouldn't be able to. Well, as I decide our next course of action, I recommend that each of you obtain your desired nourishment. Dismiss. She plops down on a nearby bench, digging through her satchel. Aries settles next to her, pulling a peach out of her backpack. The others take various places around the rooftop greenhouse, retrieving lunchboxes from their bags. I notice Yahiko slide into the bench beside Masaki. Elizabeth sits opposite of Shiguri alone. And Akira whips out Annette Diane Hellenson, the seventh, this, it changed numbers, 14th, and lays her on the floor. And when Rui and Masato attempt to sit on her, Akira gestures frantically at Rui. Oh, yeah. Rui quickly makes her way to me, extending a lunchbox with 2 hands. Hey, you didn't bring any food, right? I made extra. You can have it if you want. You made enough food to fill an extra lunchbox. I actually made a lot more than I expected, okay? Just take it. I can only stare at the lunchbox, my mind racing ahead of me. Should I? I'd rather not hurt her feelings. But isn't it accepting homemade food from someone's synopsis of accepting their feelings? I glance at Akira for help. She's pointedly looking away from us. Maybe she wants to give us privacy. Take it before my arms fall off, idiot. That's the break for me. I'm comfortable enough to accept the lunchbox. Thanks. No problem. She suddenly dashes back to Annette Diane Helson, the 14th, leaving me alone with the lunchbox. I glance inside. Delicious eggs are neatly rolled and topped with seaweed, set in an aesthetic bouquet beside a bed of rice. The rice is shaped into a lantern, decorated with lettuce, carrots, and cucumber. It looks unbelievably delicious, but just when I'm about to dig in, some commotion catches my attention. So what's like being in Lotus modeling? Do you live an extravagant life with servants who wait on your beck and call? I wouldn't say extravagant, but it is fun. You get to meet so many new people, visit so many new places, try so many new things. It's a great experience. Although it can be really demanding sometimes. Demanding? How? It's a competitive business, so it requires a lot of commitment. That's why I'm usually absent from class. And the school allows that? Surprisingly, my grades aren't being affected, so I suppose they don't see it as a problem. Do you think Lotus would have an opening for the great Yahiko Ikari? I highly doubt that his grades would allow him to work as a model. You are handsome, so I don't see why not. Did she just call Yahiko handsome? I admit, he's not bad looking, but I didn't expect her to be so blunt about it. Yeah, you're right. Of course they wouldn't deny impeccable charms. What's your number? I'm sure to text you when I find something. I can only shake my head incredulously as I begin sharing contact info. I dig it into my free lunch, relishing the explosion of flavor in my mouth. Rui is really improving at cooking. As I eat, I continue to examine my surroundings. The next group to catch my attention is Aori and Shiguri. Aori is quietly munching on a peach in her standard baby hamster fashion. Shiguri, meanwhile, has propped her feet up on a flower bed like a gangster. She appears to be eating some kind of sweet green dumpling. Shiguri? Yes? Is that enough? This? She gestures at the green balls in her hands. Aori nods. More than enough. They're melon paste mochi, the roots of immortality. What? There are no vegetables, no fruit, no protein. Well, yes, but it's not nutritious. Eat some veggies? If you insist, Ari. Ari shows a rare smile at this. I'm surprised how open she is around Shiguri. Makes me wonder how they know each other. But not only that, but Shiguri actually listens to Ari. It seems like Ari is the only one who can put her in her place. Galloping goats! You don't mean to say... I do indeed. He is gone by now, far behind the city limits, and out of your scheming hands. And there goes those two again. You misunderstand the meaning of omniscient, my dear Lady Bingham. Ha, as if you could beat true love. Oh no, I happen to know that your lover is hiding. Right here. She whips her fingers around in my direction, but thankfully, Masato steps in front. Huh? Me? Jumping jackals. I always thought that sort of thing only happened in dramas. That's a proper Destiny-like moment, isn't it, Rui? Masato? My true love? Yeah, I don't think so. Masato seems to be taking this as a challenge. Every muscle tightens with competitive aggression as he steps between Rui and Akira, brandishing an imaginary sword. Come and fight me, you big coward. Yeah, I'm here to challenge you to a duel to the death. No, duel to the pain. I smell disaster afoot. The hell is a duel to the pain? First, your feet are cut off below the ankles, then your hands at the wrists, then your eyes and your tongue. But it's only if I lose, right? Easy. Now fight me, you crooked canary. On second thought, peace. You can be with your true love. She flees away from the scene, taking cover behind Shiguri. What are you doing? I'm hiding by the Alps. You are the Alps. Go away, I'm not the Alps. That's what the Alps always say. Leave! It's an unusual burst of energy. She reaches out and shoves Akira to the ground. Everything happens at once. Rui rushes to Akira, worriedly checking for her for injury. Elizabeth and Misaki immediately get to their feet. Yahiko freezes while Masato sprints at Shiguri. The hell was that about? I'm thinking. Don't disturb me when I'm thinking. You didn't have to shove her. She wouldn't have left otherwise. How do you know that, eh? I took a moment to analyze all of you when we first met, if you recall. You can't know someone by one look. You can if you process at least one functional hemisphere of a brain. Don't talk like that, Shiguri. Guys, I'm fine. Let's just calm down. This does nothing to stop the rising tension. Even I can't help but feel amped up. It's one thing for Shiguri to insult me, and another thing for her to insult one of my friends. Even if I insult him all the time. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I know. Let me be. I need to think. And you gonna say you're sorry? I won't say I'm sorry for something I have no reason to be sorry for. Akira didn't even do anything to you. She had no awareness of the comfort of others. She completely disregarded Ari's feelings on the matter. Everyone's eyes landed on Ari, who stared blankly at Peach. Come to think of it, Akira would have been right next to Ari. I didn't mean to make anyone uncomfortable. I thought you guys were lonely. Just because you may be lonely in an identical situation does not give you the right to push your opinions on other people. I'm sorry. You did nothing wrong, Akira. Stop this, Shiguri. On the contrary, you two are the ones horsing around, dragging everyone into your uncomfortable scenarios. Hey, ain't you the one making us investigate for you? I did nothing of the sort. Ishiyama was your requester. That ain't no excuse. Stop being so single-minded and think for once. All you can do is band together like sheep. Why don't you approach this from Ari's perspective? Everyone once again looked at Ari, who stopped munching on her peach. Well, you just put her on the spot. Which would make her uncomfortable? Don't speak as if you know more than I. Maybe you're the stubborn one, huh? This is degenerating fast. What's surprising is that Elizabeth and Misaki aren't making a move. They're just sitting back, watching the display before them without emotion. Clearly, they value Shiguri too highly to fight back, which means I have to do it. Rui, you may be saying this because you're still learning, but in the world of detectives... No, what you did wasn't necessary, Shiguri. Please don't tell me that this is real life. Don't you lecture me about what is real life or what is not. Shut up, all of you. Amazingly, they actually quiet down. Akira, you're okay? Righter than red, Cap. There's a slight tremble in her voice, but I ignore it. No need to stir up any more trouble. Good, Shiguri, don't shove people. If she was making Eri uncomfortable... Eri? Were you uncomfortable? A tense moment of silence falls upon the group. Eri only shrugs incourteously. Okay, whatever. Akira, don't take close again. Shiguri, don't shove Akira again. Solved. But that's not fair too. Solved. That's it. Understood. Thankfully, she nods sullenly. Shiguri only strains her glasses, but I'm pretty sure that she'll also behave herself. Presently, I notice that Elizabeth and Misaki are looking at me with a tinge of respect. Well, at least someone's pleased with me. Guys, why don't we cool off a bit? Let's do something fun. Nobody seems to react, but somehow I can tell that they're all interested. Fighting is his way of sucking you dry. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye!